me at all.
No, yes, now we hear you. Thank you
Okay.
so much for your time.
Okay, sure. No problem.
So I know that you are very busy, so I will just ask you like 5 questions.
Sure.
It's about like mass deportation.
Okay.
So I have 2 types of like maybe like people or prospective clients, and the first group of it will be like undocumented individuals who are like unfortunately illegally in the US, but they don't want to apply for asylum. And the second group of people is like they also unfortunately illegally in the US, but they wish to apply. In the both situations, what we can offer?
Okay. Okay. If these are people who come in here, right?
Yeah, they are in the US, and the first group is they are in the US and illegally, and they don't want to apply for asylum. And the second is group is like people, they are also in the US, but they wish to apply for asylum. In both situations, what we can offer?
Okay. Okay, I understand. Okay. Well, if they're here illegally, and if they're not going to file for some kind of status, then they could be subject for deportation. So if they don't have, I mean, they need to either file adjustment of status, to get like a status, to get a status, or they need to file for asylum. I mean, one of the or the two. If they don't have an asylum claim, and if they don't have grounds to file for adjustment of status, or if they are, for example, if they are out of status and they cannot apply for an adjustment of status, then there's not much they could do. So it's only a question of finding out what they qualify for. Most adjustments of status, they need to have a current status, but there are some adjustments that don't need to be current. For example, with VAWA or with SIJ, they don't need to be current to apply for it. And then there are exceptions, like we can ask for waiver and then apply for adjustment of status, or you can ask for hardship. Under some conditions, people can ask for hardship exceptions.
What does it mean?
So if somebody is in the country for more than 10 years and has not been subject to deportation proceedings, they have a right to ask that, they have a right to claim that they have hardship, if they have a family member here, and therefore to be able to do an adjustment of status to a green card, even though they are out of status. So those are also situations that for some people like that. Yeah.
So, but if person is here like illegally, like maybe 3 years, 6 years, they can also apply for right now for asylum, correct?
Yeah, they can. So there is, as you know, the rule is that asylum should be applied within 1 year after entering the United States. However, there are exceptions to that rule. And then some people can qualify for the exception to that rule. One of the exceptions, for example, is if there's changed circumstances. Let's say you come in from a country, let's say, like, for example, Syria, right? So they had, a revolution last week, and now there's a new government. It's changed circumstance. So if now they have a claim, that they didn't have before, then they could say that, change circumstance, and therefore they can apply even if they've been here for 10 years. For example, like the government there was overthrown, right? So if somebody was connected to the government, maybe the same ethnic group or the same religious group or the same political group, and now that the country, that regime has been overthrown, they can make a claim that, hey, if we go back now, it's a different condition, change circumstance, therefore they can ask for asylum now. And just one example. There could be other changed circumstances that didn't exist at the time that now exist, and therefore you could do that.
So in that situation, is it possible to get like approval, or it's
Yes,
like
absolutely. I'll give an example. We had a client who came to us a few years ago. He was in this country from Russia for 18 years, and he had never applied for asylum, and he was out of status. So he explained to us that the situation in Russia, over the last few years had changed so much that now he was in danger if he went back. And we were able to prove that by bringing letters from his family, by showing the country report and all of that. So we had a trial, an asylum trial, and at the end, the judge agreed and issued an asylum order, and he got asylum, and actually he just got his green card recently. So there are definitely circumstances where even people who have been here for more than a year or have been here for a longer time, they may qualify to apply for asylum under the proper circumstances, that we would have to talk. Every case is different, but there are possibilities like that. Yeah.
So and the second question is, like, for clients applying for asylum,
Yeah.
is it possible to obtain like a travel document?
Yeah. Okay. So here, this is a little bit complicated, but I'll give you a simple answer. If they came in here, if they were lawfully admitted, right? And lawful admitted, paroled or admitted, that's the statute. So that means obviously people who came here with a visa and then overstayed the visa and applied for asylum, that's one way. But even people who came from the border and who were granted parole when they came in, so they were admitted lawfully, those people have the right to ask for emergency advance parole, which is a right for them to leave the country and come back. Usually it's for up to 30 days. Usually it's for up to 30 days.
But for people who, like, illegally, unfortunately, they missed the deadline to apply for asylum, and they are gonna apply right now.
Yeah.
Is it possible to get them, like?
Yeah, it is possible. I'll give you an example. Somebody came here 10 years ago. They came here with a regular visa. They came here 10 years ago. They stayed and they never applied for asylum. Now, 10 years later, there's changed circumstances and we apply for asylum. Those people can get advance parole and they can leave the country and come back with the advance parole.
How long it takes, like to get?
It doesn't take long. It's you make an appointment with USCIS, like here in New York, it's at Federal Plaza, 26 Federal Plaza, but it's all over the country they have it. So you make an appointment with the local, USCIS office, and you go there, you show them the emergency, and usually they give it to you right on the spot.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I said, it's usually up to only 30 days.
Up to 30 days. Okay. And the third question, it's like, is it possible to expedite like work authorization if people who's applying for asylum case?
Well, there's no way to miss to make it quicker than the 150. They have to wait 150 days, really 180 when you count it. So they have to wait like five months before they can apply for that. Currently, there's no way to expedite that. You have to wait that. But if you've waited that and you applied it and it's taking more than a month or two, then you can ask for an expedite.
Okay. Yeah. And there's a third question. It's like a tricky question.
Sure.
What rights do individuals have if an immigration officer comes to their house, home? What should they know or do in this situation?
Okay. Yeah, very important question, especially now that we have a new administration that's promising mass deportations as soon as they come into power. So that's a very important question. And the answer is, the only right you have is the right to show your status when the immigration officer comes. If, for example, if you file for asylum, right? If you file for asylum during the time that your asylum is being processed, you are here legally. So you could try to say, here's my asylum claim, here's my receipt. If you applied for adjustment of status, same thing. The problem is, if you haven't applied, if you have not applied, there's really not much you could do. You are here unlawfully, and if the agent comes, they have a right to detain you, and then to deport you after that. So that's why it's important for everyone to make themselves legal, to adjust their status, to file for whatever relief they're entitled by law to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's first questions. Maybe one of our clients asked, like, who is applying for EB1, already applied, and she's asking, is it possible using like Medicaid or like government insurance? Is it gonna affect like for her case?
Okay, it's also a very good question. And for the last 4 years, I've been telling people it's not a problem because when the Biden administration came in, they said that applying for health insurance would not be considered a public charge offense, right? So, meaning that people who apply for Medicaid would not be penalized because they applied for Medicaid, as opposed to, welfare and cash assistance and all of that. So, now, again, as we all know, the administration is like there's only 2 months left. There was actually a month left in this administration. So, what if that rule is going to change, the regulation will change afterwards, then that's something else. But as of today, it's okay.
It's okay, as of today, okay. And there's a last question.
Sure.
Yesterday I got a call, and one of our like prospective client, she came to the US like H-1B, and she's asking, is it possible to apply for EB-1 or EB-2?
Yes.
And then to stop like working for the employer which has
absolutely yes. So here's the thing: if you're in the U.S., as long as you're in status, you have to be admitted and in status, meaning you came here with a visa, or you got parole when you came from Mexico. If you were admitted that way and you are currently in status, or you can even be a little bit out of status up to 180 days because 245K allows you that. If you are, then you have the right to do the following. You can apply for EB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can apply for the 485 simultaneously if that EB visa is current. For example, today, currently, and for the last few years, EB1 is current. So if you apply for EB1, you can apply for adjustment at the same time. And when you send in and you get a receipt for your adjustment, your status changed. Now you are adjusted to pending green card. So that means that at that point you are in status and you're no longer H-1B status for that person. It would be pending 485. That means that they could leave that employment, and then within about 3 to 4 months currently, they will get a work authorization, social security number if they don't have it, and then they can work for anybody they want.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Vano,
You're very welcome.
Time. And
You're very welcome. Happy to answer any questions that your followers have.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.